Hey there folks, John here with Through My Lens, and today I'm coming to you with another knife-related video. Today we're going to be looking at my top 5 Grail knives of 2020. Now for me, 2020 has been the year of the Grails. I have been able to track down and acquire more Grail knives in this one year than any other in my lifetime. So what is a Grail? Well, a Grail knife represents both an acquisition and an accomplishment. These aren't just expensive knives, they're also extremely difficult to track down and acquire at any price. They tend to be both limited in production and high in demand. So beyond being able to afford the asking price, it takes both know-how and perseverance to chase these knives down, and in some cases, a little bit of luck. So without further ado, here are my top 5 Grail knives of 2020. I have my iPhone 12 Pro here as just kind of a placeholder for the knives that are going to be coming, but this was one of my top acquisitions of 2020. The iPhone 12 Pro was a fantastic upgrade for me. Loved the Pacific Blue, so just wanted to let this make an appearance in this video. But on to the knives. The first one up, the Reeve large Sebenza 31 with black micarta inlays. Now at this point in 2020, these are getting a little easier to find, but it did take me until probably late spring, early summer this year to find one. The Sebenza 31, the upgrade to the 21, started rolling out pretty late in 2019. Which continued into January of 2021. And, at the time, I really didn't have my eye on these, but once I did, I started looking around and I couldn't find very many 31s out there at all that had been released yet, much less the ones with the micarta inlay like you see here. So again, it did take me till almost mid-year to be able to find one. So one of the reasons, it remained a Grail for me for quite a bit of the year. Now at $550, these are not cheap, but for me, this may well be the ultimate Sebenza 31. And I say that because it's far more wear resistant than the plain Jane 31 that I also have. I don't really have to be concerned about snail trails on this knife, mainly because of the micarta inlays, which do a lot to kind of protect the titanium parts from showing those snail trails. Now this is my first knife which incorporates micarta in its construction, and I previously didn't care for the material, but I absolutely love it on this knife. I think this knife is going to be staying with me for a long, long time, so that's why I included it in this list of top 5 Grail knives for 2020. Moving on, we have the Hinder XM18 Bowie blade. Now, when I reviewed this knife earlier this year, I was taken to task over my pronunciation. Like a lot of people, I said Bowie blade. The true, technically correct pronunciation is Bowie blade. So this is a Bowie blade, XM18. It's been several years since Hinder released a Bowie XM18, which is really why this knife is on the list. My friend has one from the previous release, which I think was a Gen 5. So again, it's been a couple of years, but Hinder finally released them this summer. The first Gen 6 Tri-Way XM18s. So I'm really excited about that. You can kind of see here, it does have the Tri-Way demarcation on the flipper tab there. This example is absolutely fantastic. We've got a nicely centered blade here. The action is incredible. I think the XM18 does not get enough credit, particularly the Gen 6, does not get enough credit for the flipping action. The detent is fantastic, and with the bearings installed, this really does flip very, very, just one of the top flipping actions, out there for mid-tech knives. Really doesn't get enough credit for that. And perhaps even rarer than the knife itself is this anodized blue 2020 filler tab that I have installed on it. Every year, Hinder releases these with the year noted on the filler tab. Of course, with 2020 being such a topsy-turvy historic year, these have been in really high demand. They sold out very quickly after Hinder released them, and I've seen them sell for as much as $100 in the Hinder buy-sell trade group on Facebook. And I think the Bowie blade here, the Bowie blade, sorry, probably for me is really the ultimate expression of the Hinder XM18 for me, and I'm really happy to finally have one of these in my collection as one of my 2020 Grails. Next up, we've got yet another Hinder XM18. This one is a fullered spear point. Now, this particular variation of the XM18 is a DLT trading exclusive, and as such is one of the rare non-custom or special edition XM18s that you can find out there. This one is made with M390 blade steel, which is different from the more standard issue XM18s, which are more typically 20 CV these days. But this fuller gives the XM18 the ability to be a middle finger flick knife, unlike other XM18s. So that's taking the all important fidget factor for the knife up by an order of magnitude. And I've really come to enjoy being able to middle finger flick this knife. It is really phenomenal from that perspective. Also, to kind of differentiate it from some of the other XM18s that I have, like the Bowie blade that you just saw, I did install some of the Hinder bronze hardware, bronzed titanium hardware, both front and back, which is just gorgeous. I love how that looks with the black scale. Really, I've just really fallen in love with this one. I'm carrying this a lot, even more actually right now than I am the Bowie, which has really surprised me. So this has been a fantastic Grail knife for me to pick up, and they are extremely rare. I do understand that DLT will probably at some point in first quarter of 2021 do another release of these fullered spear points. I can't wait. Great knife, and I highly recommend one. Moving on, the next knife we have is my Konig Knives Arius, or Arius, depending on how you pronounce it, I'm not sure. This one is a Gen 4 model with a carbon fiber scale. This example of the Arius is less common than the standard dealer issue plain Jane Konig Arius that typically has the bright wash finish. But it's even though that it's among the dealer released knives that tend to be the most common, it is still quite rare. Any Konig Arius is a very rare knife, but these carbon fibers, it seems like there's one for about every 50 of the plain Jane models. So I was extremely lucky to acquire it directly from a dealer for the $750 retail price that they sell for. And I absolutely fell in love with the carbon fiber scale combined with the overall weight of 4 ounces. This knife really is an ideal knife for EDC. You can see I acquired the accessory blue hardware from the Konig website, which can be difficult to do because they seem to be always sold out of the blue hardware. So I'm really happy I've got this one exactly the way I want it. I've been carrying this a ton, and I think when I go back to work after the whole global pandemic stuff, that this knife will probably be coming with me several times a week. I really do think that this is a knife that I could probably own as my only knife for the rest of my life. Really, it's that good. Okay, we're down to the final selection here in my top 5 Grails for 2020. Another Konig Arius. This time we have a plain Jane Sprint model. Now, this example of a plain Jane Arius is extremely rare. And it was sold in a limited edition or Sprint drop in the fall directly from Konig for a eye-watering $850. Unfortunately, when this happened, I was cart sniped in the process of trying to acquire the knife that I wanted, which was the same configuration. But fortunately, not long after the drop, one of the lucky buyers did let me buy his for nearly the same price as they were being offered. So this is not only the most rare and expensive knife that I own, it has the best flipping action of any knife I've ever handled. It is just phenomenal. I'm guessing that the Sprint Run models get a bit more time and attention paid to them. But in terms of what makes this so interesting is the fact that it has primarily the hand rub finish on the blade that is just absolutely gorgeous. Really, really impressed with that finish. Again, the more common models have the bright wash finish as opposed to this hand rub finish. This is also the first time that a Konig Arius has had the titanium pivot screw. This one's anodized blue to match the rest of the hardware. It's something that Konig fans have been asking for a long time, and Konig finally delivered it with this knife. And of course, it came with the accessory matching blue hardware already installed, so it has a number of features and upgrades that tends to justify that, again, eye-watering $850 retail price. So there you have it. Those are my Grail knives, my top 5 Grails for 2020. There's a couple of things I also wanted to mention again in kind of the honorable mention category, like my aforementioned iPhone 12 Pro, because they are part of my EDC. First up, we have this Okluma DC0 EDC flashlight. This has become a staple of my carry, which really, really has surprised me. Prior to acquiring this knife, I had kind of gotten out, or rather this flashlight, I had kind of gotten out of the habit of carrying a flashlight, but this one is so good that it's gotten me carrying a flashlight again. These are extremely rare. Whenever Okluma drops the DC0 in any finisher configuration, they all sell out within seconds because it's one of the most it's just one of the best, most coveted flashlights, custom flashlights out there. Really high price tag. I want to say this was $450. Check out my review that's here on the channel because this is just a fantastic EDC flashlight. The other item that I wanted to mention that's become part of my EDC and is usually with me almost every single day is this Vero Engineering Mini Fulcrum. Such a fantastic little tool. When Vero drops these fulcrums, either the full-size fulcrum, which I also have, or the mini fulcrum, which I actually like better than the full-size from my carryability standpoint, they sell out within seconds. It's unbelievable, and God bless Joseph Vero. Every time he does a drop of these, he says, "Okay, guys, I ordered enough so that we can keep some of these in stock on the website," and then they all sell out anyway. So it's really crazy. This particular one is one of the more limited versions that has the Vero name printed on the back side of the pry tool, and it also has this absolutely gorgeous Damascus clip. These are far more limited than the tools themselves, which are already practically non-existent. But the total package being what it is, this is an awesome little Grail EDC item that I've so enjoyed having with me. I use these quite a bit, not as much for a pry tool. I don't need to do much prying, but the tool itself makes a wonderful flathead because the titanium tends to be softer than stainless steel. It makes a wonderful pry tool for my XM18s, or rather a flathead screwdriver when I want to make a pivot adjustment. And then of course I've got the rest of the tools in tool itself that can be used on this end, like a driver. So it's really been a fantastic tool for me, and another great Grail item for 2020. Thanks so much, Bureau Engineering. Really appreciate it. Well, there you have it. There's my top Grails, both knives and other EDC items for 2020. It's been a fantastic year. Looking forward to 2021. What am I going to be after? Probably at the top of the list of my acquisitions that I'm going to be looking for in 2021 is a Chris Reeve Umnumzan Tanto. I've mentioned this in other videos that I've owned an Umnumzan before, and really in some respects I liked it better than the Sebenza. I'm not a huge Tanto guy, but the Umnumzan really does look fantastic with a Tanto blade. I'd also like to get a DLC Hinderer. I currently own about 4 XM18s, and so my XM18 quiver is really pretty full at this point. I think about the only thing I don't have in my Hinderer collection right now that I would want is an example in DLC, and I do mean just basic DLC. I don't need one in the Battle Black or the Stonewash DLC. I just want straight regular DLC. That I think is something that I would really like to pick up, and really in nearly any blade configuration that Hinderer makes, other than really Spanto. I don't care for the Spanto. Finally, I'd really like to get a Shirogorov Hati. I did pick up my first Shiro earlier this year, a Hatian Zero. Check out my review here on the channel. It's my first Shirogorov, and I don't carry it a ton currently, but I think I will carry it more when I'm no longer teleworking due to COVID-19, and I'll be wearing more suits again. I would very much like to get the larger Hati, or Hati R, probably more likely. I also might try to pick up a Konig Arius with blue twill, maybe. I kind of feel like having 3 Ariuses, or REI, not sure what the plural is there. I kind of feel like 3 of them might be a little bit overkill, so we'll kind of see what comes my way. I think that would be a pretty tough one to find unless I'm able to go to Blade Show, which who knows when we'll all be able to go back to Blade Show. Okay, well, that's it. That's my top 5 Grail knives for 2020, along with my honorable mention EDC items. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care, God bless. We'll see you in the next one. I hope you've enjoyed this production from the Through My Lens YouTube channel. If you did, please click on the like button and do share the video on social media. If you'd like to see more content like it, please do subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and do check out Through My Lens at www.throughmylens.org.